quite the turn of events. Got the building done. This cold snap has hit Oklahoma. It is negative some odd degrees. I don't know, freezing cold. But I'm going to take advantage of this cold weather day and change the oil in my weld machine. I thought I was going to back in here and change it in this little 3-car garage I use in the shop. One side I use as storage. Not near big enough, so I'm just going to pull my truck out up underneath my A-frame here, pull the weld machine off, set the weld machine down on my cart, move the cart in the shop, warm it up, let it run, and change oil. Let's get started. Y'all didn't think I was going to get started without coffee, did you? Come on. Well, that went over like a turd in a punch bowl. As you can see here, it's a different day. I'm filming with my iPhone, and it literally filmed for like 30 seconds and then quit filming. So the whole using this A-frame to lift my weld machine up off my truck, didn't even get it on footage. So I decided to wait. It was like negative, I don't know, around 0 degrees, but it felt like negative 25 the other day whenever I was trying to film. This is what we've been dealing with around here. Solid ice. Look at that. Around the edges. It's not solid in the center, but you can see where the edge has thickened up over the couple of days. And my hand's getting frozen as I'm trying to film here. Daggum cold. And this is the last of the snow. I thought it was actually going to quit by now, but it's still snowing. It's a couple days later here in Oklahoma. We do not get snow like this very often. Not very often at all. But today I'm going to attempt to change the oil in my weld machine. I mean, at least the sun is shining. If you're interested in prints for this A-frame, there's some on my website, AROSSWELDING.com. You can find prints to build your own A-frame. And the first thing I'm going to do, of course, drink some coffee, turn on this heater, probably shut the door to my shop, just kind of let it warm up for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. And then I'll come in here and I'll fire up my weld machine and let it run for 30 minutes or more. That way it warms the oil up, and then change the oil in this bad boy. Got my stuff right over here. I got an air filter I'm going to go ahead and replace. Fuel filter, oil filter, all wicks. I did consider putting a lighter weight oil in, but I couldn't find it at my local parts store because, you know, wintertime, I think thinner oil is better. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I normally run, Rotella 15W40. And since I couldn't find any, this is what I'm going to put back in it, but it does call for roughly 2 gallons. I bought me some Marvel mystery oil to put in the trucks. This is a, you know, just an additive. You can put in diesels, gas, and things like that. So with this cold weather, I went ahead and put some in both Kayla's truck and my truck, and then I put some in my weld machine, and then I think you can even put it in your oil. Yeah, I'm pretty sure guys put it in their oil. I've never done that, but I might do that. Anyway, yes, it is certainly cold here in Oklahoma. It's going to be nasty for a while because it's going to take forever for this amount of snow to actually get gone and melt and whatnot. I think we just got roughly 4 to 7 inches, and the other day we got, I want to say, about this much. So I would say in total, minimum 8 inches that we got in February. Well, I'm crazy. All right, it's been about 30 minutes, a little over maybe. Let's go in here and start this weld machine. All right, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is run this hose. I'm pretty sure this welding machine came with this hose, and I just keep it tucked up in here. But on my welding bed, I made a slot in the bottom of my bed to where this hose can go down in that slot, and I can change the oil with my machine on my truck. But in this case, they did put a hole. I'm pretty sure this hole come factory for this hose, so you can do exactly what I'm doing here. And then there's a little petcock in there. And the first thing, literally, all I'm going to do is just pull that petcock and open it. And you see here, it's coming right out. To let it breathe a little bit, I'm going to take this cap off. This cap over here is where you put the oil in, but usually if you take the cap off, you can see it's draining there better now. And then I'll even take this dipstick out. That just allows it to breathe. Then I'll let it drain. This here is the oil filter. You can see that it makes a mess here, so that's just the design on this machine. This is a Perkins motor on this SAE 300, 2012 model SAE 300 Perkins motor. This is where the oil filter's at. This is the fuel filter I'll be changing out, and I forgot to mention earlier that I will be changing this separator back here also. It's essentially another filter, fuel filter, but also it's a separator, so I'll be changing that also. But yeah, I let that drain for as long as it can. While it's draining, I'm gonna go ahead and get an oil filter wrench and pull this oil filter off. It is so nice being able to do this in a shop. Also gonna go ahead and grab some rags. So my machine is a diesel, but your gas machines, your SA200s and stuff, your oil filter is gonna set like this or upside down. On the even older ones, I believe, it'll actually be upside down, but it'll be on the other side, not on this side. A lot of your weld machines are different, but that's just a general rule of thumb. With diesels, they're on the back side, and with 200s, they're on the front side. I'm gonna go ahead and let that drain a little bit so all that oil gets out of there. Here's the separator that I'm talking about right here. Loosen this off with my channel locks. This will drop down, then I'm pretty sure there's a plastic container that's inside this plastic container that goes around that filter. And then there's actually a fuel shut off right here on this side that I will shut off here, shut it off to change this. So I'm fixing to pull this off and then put the new filter on. I'm gonna replace that while I'm at it. This right here is what they call prime. You press this down several times and it'll fill your filter up with fuel. That way, you know, it's what priming is filling your lines with fuel. This is your prime. It'll fill this up. Get the new oil filter back on, get everything put together, get oil put back in it. That's where the oil will go in at. Fire it up, let it run, check the oil, and we'll be good to go. Oh, and then also replace my air filter, which is right here. This is where the air filter goes on this machine. All right, let me go ahead and pull this off. Okay, looks like I need a bigger wrench for the fuel filter. Ain't nothing but a thing. I got a couple of them over here. That one might work, but I'm gonna grab this one while I'm here. If these don't work, I got one in my truck. Yeah, that's way too big still yet, son of a gun. Hot diggity. Oh my God, hot diggity. Hot diggity, that's upside down, hot diggity. Excuse my heavy breathing. Might be a little out of shape. All right, that wasn't very tight. It's always good. If you're like me, you make a mess everywhere. Get your gloves dirty, wet, get your pants wet. It's just how I do it. I can't help it. Get y'all a little closer so you can see what's really going on. All right, get my channel locks. Pull this bad boy off here. Boy, howdy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, man. Take some of that oil, put it around here. Yeah, boy. Put this sucker back on here since it seems to want to be continually letting out fuel for some weird reason. Oh, hey Ross, I ain't no mechanic now. I I'm just one of them old shade tree mechanics, you know what I'm saying? My dad taught me how to change oil, and that's about it. And filters. And you're really not supposed to use oil filter wrench to put on your filters, but it was slick and I couldn't get a good grip on it, so. All right, got the fuel filter on. Looks like our oil filter oil is draining pretty good, or done draining. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the oil filter on. Same deal, you wanna put some lube right here on the gasket and spin this bad boy on. That's good to go. Now all I like is this guy. Look at that bad boy, old one compared to the new one. So we're gonna put this on just like so. Wipe this plastic deal off pretty good. Slide this up over that bad boy. Slide this up over that bad boy. And then put a ring back on. Oh yeah. Snug that up with the old channel locks, just a skosh there. All right, now that we got all our filters back on nice and snug, the one thing you want to make sure you do is tighten your petcock down here where you're, because you know this whole time you've been letting your oil drain into your pan down there, and just go ahead and tighten that bad boy. That way you don't lose all this new oil that you're about to pour in your machine here. All right, one last thing before I fire it up. Shoot, dog. Hot dog. You just can't tell how dirty they are until you get a new one. All right, time to fire it up. I like to fire my machine up, let it run for 15 or 20 seconds, shut it off and let it sit for a minute, and then check the oil to make sure there's enough oil in it. Maybe fire it up again and just make sure since we messed with the fuel filters, make sure all your lines are full of fuel and everything's good to go. And in this extreme cold weather, I've already added some additive in this tank of fuel, but if you haven't done that and it's cold where you're at, you might add a little fuel additive. We are safe. There's a tick mark here and a tick mark there, and it's right in the middle there. So if you notice, I pulled it out, wiped it all off, because from changing the oil and it running and everything, there was oil all over the dipstick. But if you'll pull it out, wipe it off, stick it back in and pull it right back out, you can tell the accurate reading on your oil level. So good to go. My advice for this week is take advantage of your bad weather days. You know, if you're solely a mobile rig welder and you don't have a very big shop like myself, that's a whole nother subject as far as prioritizing a shop. If you're going to be a welder in general, things I would do differently. We can make a whole new video about that subject. Take advantage of your bad weather days by doing maintenance on your equipment like we did in this video, building jigs for fence, building jigs for whatever project you're working on. Organize your shop to make things more efficient. I'd like to build a table for this chop saw. I'd like to build a rolly cart for this heater. You can do your online shopping on your bad weather days. Shop for welding shirts, soapstone, leather patch hats, wintertime caps. I mean, there's tons of stuff that you can shop for on your bad weather days. The list is endless of things that you can do on bad weather days. Sell work is another one. What I mean by that is having a small business like this, chances are you may not have, you know, a secretary or, you know, other employees to like help you do office work, return phone calls, return emails, whatever, stuff like that. You know, just being in contact with your customers or potential customers. So selling work or selling shop work, so you can do the shop work in your shop on bad weather days. That's probably the number one thing I would probably focus on. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking of this. Even if you don't have shop work to do, you can still do things to be efficient or make your job more efficient on bad weather days. But absolutely just enjoy it. Whatever you do on your bad weather days to take advantage of the time, enjoy doing it. That's the most important. I challenge you to have the most fun this week than anybody that you work around. Don't let them have more fun than you. And if you're getting bored or something, like, look harder for something to learn. That way it interests you and that way you're having fun doing it. That's the most important thing, is have fun doing whatever it is you're doing. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope y'all learned something. I know I learned something every week in the comment section. I thank all of you that share your advice and share things that you all have learned in the trade. I don't take it lightly. Let me know what you do to take advantage of bad weather days. Thank y'all for watching, and remember, learn something every day.